This is going to be a short video explaining how to access some of the feedback left on your writing assignments that you turn in for this class and for any class in which you're using the Turnitin software. So what you're going to see when you initially click on that little colored box next to your assignment or the grade or whatever you have that allows you to get to the Turnitin page is something like this. And what it defaults to, if you look over here on the right, you've got a bunch of different little buttons you can click on, is this red one, which is the originality view. And all this does is show cases where information that you have in the piece are showing up in other places. So if I'm looking at this now, if I see these colored areas, all that indicates to me is that this particular piece has shown up some other place in another work, whether that be a journal or anything else that Turnitin has access to. So this has a couple purposes. One, it's useful for instructors if there's some indication of plagiarism. That makes it pretty easy to spot, so don't plagiarize. It's too easy to be caught with that nowadays. But also as a writer, you can figure out if other people are writing about things that are similar to your own. That's sometimes useful as a research tool. Okay, but you're probably more interested in this other box that's not clicked initially, and so you have to do that here. And that's what's called the feedback layer. So if I click on this blue one, then you're going to see some stuff start to pop up in the paper or whatever you've written. And these are going to be your instructor comments. And so you'll see things highlighted, and you'll see these little boxes off to the side. When you click on those boxes, it's going to give you some feedback in there. So like looks fine, or a fine source. Note that this is probably going to be rather technical, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be stuff that I've left as far as feedback concerning a particular piece. Sometimes it'll be good stuff, like, hey, this was really good, like maybe your citation formatting is good, or this is a good idea. More often it'll be critical stuff, like, okay, this was a shortcoming, or this is something you need to address. Sometimes it's just a general comment about the purpose of a paragraph or something. But all of that feedback is generally going to be in these little bubbles listed next to something. Note also that these bubbles will have an indicator about what they were applied to. So like this says sources. For all of the stuff you'll turn into me, you're going to have rubrics associated with them. So for this particular thing, the rubric only had 3 parts: the thesis, the source, and the grammar. Each of those things will have an associated set of comments that are made, and you can click on the little bubble next to it to give each of those comments that were made in that particular place. Okay. So that's going to give you access to the specific feedback in the paper. This is what it looks like in rubric form, how the grades were posted for that particular rubric, how many comments were made for a particular type. And then what you may also see is a feedback summary if one was given. Sometimes I'll do this if I need to make some explanation for borderline grades. So if something was in between, like in this case the maximum was 14 and the middle was 11, maybe it's like a 12.5, and I'll offer some explanation for that. That'll show up in this middle one, the feedback summary. So that does it for accessing feedback and viewing feedback for these Turnitin assignments. If you've got additional questions about this stuff, shoot me a message and I'll try to respond as quickly as possible.